So the first question which we are discussing is show that f from n to n given by f of x equal to it has two values, x plus 1 when x is odd and x minus 1 if x is even, is both 1 1 and onto. This is what you need to show. So for that, first we will start with the concept of 1 1. Again the function has two definition, so we will choose first as let x1 and x2 be both odd. So it has been broken into three cases, three or you can say four, that is when both are of same thing, odd, even, and if one is odd, one is even, like that. Okay. So when you have x1 and x2 both to be odd, we are starting with f of x1 is equal to f of x2. Let f of x1 equal to f of x2. So you'll get what is the definition of function when x1 and x2 both are odd. When x is odd, you have x plus 1. So here f of x1 will become x1 plus 1 is equal to f of x2 will become x2 plus 1. So you are getting x1 is equal to x2 in this case, right? Now we will consider, so this is your first case. Second case is when x1 and x2 are both even. So when they both are even, again we are starting with f of x1 is equal to f of x2, which will give you what is the definition when x is even, x minus 1. So you will get x1 minus 1 is equal to x2 minus 1, which will again give you x1 is equal to x2. Now the third case, we will consider one is even, one is odd. Okay, let x1 be odd and x2 be even. At that time what will happen, and we are taking again f of x1 equal to f of x2. So for this f of x1, when x1 is odd, the definition is x plus 1. So here you will get x1 plus 1 and x2 is even. So you have to take the definition of f of x as x2 minus 1. So this will give you x1 minus x2 as, you will get it to be, just see x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1. Anyway, you are getting a quantity which is not equal to 0. Okay, if I am taking x2 minus x1, you can write it as 2, right? So x2 minus, that is their subtraction is giving you 2. And this is not possible. Why? Because one is even, x2 is even and x1 is odd, and you will not get the subtraction or their difference as 2. So which is not possible. Right? So when you have x1 is odd and x2 is even, this case will not give you the 1 1 condition. Again, if you consider x1 is even and x2 is odd, at that time also you will get a similar case, that is you are starting with f of x1 equal to f of x2, which will give you again f of x1. Why? Because x1 is even, you will take the definition as x1 minus 1, and x2 is odd. x2 is odd means you have to take x2 plus 1. So again this will give you x1 minus x2 as 2, which is again not possible because one is even and one is odd. Their difference will not give you an even number, right? So this is also not possible. So what is the total conclusion for this is function will be 1 1 if both are even and both are odd, that is both are of same thing. Okay, therefore the function is 1 1 in these two conditions, right? Is 1 1 if both x1 and x2 are even or both x1 and x2 are odd. Okay. To condition, you have to show that f is onto. For that, what I am taking is, if I am taking a number, let 2r plus 1 is in the codomain, belongs to the codomain, that is the second set, codomain, because both are n, we cannot write that set because both are n. So this is in the codomain n. Now if I am taking 2r plus 1, 2r plus 1 will be an odd number. It will be an odd number, right? 2r plus 1 form is of an odd number. So for an odd number in the codomain, in the codomain, if you have an odd number, so this I have taken as odd number. Now you just see, if in the codomain here, if this x is in the domain, right? For any x in the domain, you are getting x minus 1 as in the codomain. So if I am taking in the domain x as even, x minus 1 will give you an odd number, so this will become an odd number, right? Now again, if I am taking in the domain an odd number, in the codomain I am getting it to be an even number, right? This is in the domain, it will give you an even number, and if it is in the domain as even number, you will get an odd number in the second set, that is in the codomain. So now I have taken an odd number in the codomain. Now odd number in the codomain, that means it will be of this form, right? In the codomain, if you have a number, in order to get in the domain, what you get the relation as, this is x minus 1, in the domain it will be in the form x. That means with this you have added 1 so that you are getting x. So I can say that if this is an odd number in the codomain, 2r plus 1 will give you an element in the domain as the pre-image of this odd number, right? So for any odd number 2r plus 1, so you can just start from this. For any odd number 2r plus 1 in the codomain n, we can get an even number 2r plus 1, or you can say any number. We can get a number which is of the form 2r plus 1 plus 1. So I will write 2r plus 2. Okay, this is your 2r plus 2 in the domain. So for any odd number in the codomain, you are able to find out an element in the domain which will be of that form. That is, whatever number you are choosing. Suppose you are choosing 3, you will get 4 as in the domain as a pre-image of this element, right? We can get an even number in the domain. Similarly, so that you are getting f of that number will give you this one. That means f of such that f of 2r plus 1 will give you f of 2r plus 2 will give you 2r plus 1. Okay. Now the second thing, if you are taking for any even number, this is for any odd number, for any even number which will be of the form 2r, right? For any even number 2r in the codomain n, that is 2r in the codomain, what you will have in the domain as the form. Just see, in the codomain you are taking an even number. So even number means if it is of the form x plus 1, so the element in the domain should be of the form that element minus 1 will give you x, right? X plus 1 minus 1 will give you x. So here if you are taking 2r in the codomain, in the domain it should be of the form 2r minus 1, like this, minus 1. Okay, so for any even number 2r in the codomain, we can get an element, or you can say an odd number. Okay, it will be 2r minus 1 in the domain n, such that f of 2r minus 1 will give you 2r. So for all the elements in the natural number set, you are having a pre-image. For this set, you are having a natural number in the domain. So therefore f is on 2. Okay, so you can just start from this part. This is only for your calculation, that is, you should know how we are taking, that's all. Okay. So here we are starting with y is equal to log of 1 plus 2t square plus t raised to 4, and x is this. So y is equal to log of this can be written as log of a square plus b square. So it is t square the whole square plus 2ab. So here you will get 1 plus t square the whole square. Okay. Now again we are applying this property, means you will get 2 log of 1 plus t square. So y is equal to 2 log of 1 plus t square. Now since it is in the parametric form, we have to find out first dy by dt. In order to get d square y by dx square, first we need to find out dy by dx. So dy by dt will give you 2 into log of, 2 is a constant, log of will give you 1 by 1 plus t square into the derivative of 1 plus t square will give you 2t. Okay, so you are getting 4t by 1 plus t square as dy by dt. Now what is x given as? x is given as tan inverse t. So dx by dt will be tan inverse of t is 1 by 1 plus t square. Therefore dy by dx is equal to dy by dt by dx by dt, which is equal to 4t by 1 plus t square divided by 1 by 1 plus t square. So what you are getting, these two get cancelled and you will get 4t as dy by dx. Now what is the question? You have to find out d square y by dx square. For this you can write dx of dy by dx, actually d square y by dx square. So here what you need to do is, it will be in terms of t, so you cannot differentiate with respect to x. So it will become d by dt of dy by dx is 4t into dt by dx, you will get it to be. Okay. So replacing derivative of 4t with respect to t, you are differentiating. So what you will get, 4 into dt by dx means you have to take the reciprocal of dx by dt. So that is 1 plus t square, right? 4 into 1 plus t square. So that is your answer for the second derivative, 4 into 1 plus t square. Relation R on the set Z of all integers defined by xy belongs to R if and only if x minus y is divisible by 3 is an equivalence relation. This is what you need to show. So in order to show that it's an equivalence relation, you have to go for reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So first thing is reflexive relation, whether it is reflexive or not. R is reflexive. We are just showing that whether R is reflexive or not. Okay, that is the first part. So for that what we need to show is xx belongs to R for all x belongs to the set of integers. Okay, so we know that x belongs to R when x minus x is divisible by 3. Now we know that x minus x will give you 0, which is divisible by 3 by any number which is given, okay, which is divisible by 3. So xx belongs to R. Therefore you can say that, and this is true for all x in Z in the set which is given here. Therefore R is reflexive. Understood? Now the second case is, you have to show that R is symmetric. So you have to take one pair, let x comma y belongs to R, where x and y both are integers. Okay, where x comma y belongs to Z. Now x comma y belongs to R means what? X minus y is divisible by 3 by the definition given. And if x minus y is divisible, you will get the negative of that is also divisible by 3. That means y minus x is also divisible by 3. And y minus x is divisible by 3 means y comma x belongs to R. So for any xy belongs to R, you are getting yx belongs to R. Therefore R is symmetric. Okay, so that is the second one. Now the third one is transitivity. R is transitive. Now for that we have to take two pairs, that is let x comma y belongs to R and y comma z belongs to R, and this is for all x comma y comma z belongs to capital Z. Okay, this is small z. Now xy belongs to R means what? X minus y is divisible by 3, and yz belongs to Z means belongs to R means y minus z is divisible by 3, right? Now we are starting with we are just starting with x minus z. X minus z can be written as x minus y plus y minus z, right? Now divisibility means what? X minus y is divisible means x minus y is a multiple of 3. Again y minus z is a multiple of 3, right? So from these concepts we are getting these two things and we are applying here. That means x minus y, instead of that we are writing it is a multiple of 3, and y minus z is also a multiple of 3, another multiple of 3. Okay, so 3 can be taken out, this will become 3 into m plus n. So you are getting x minus z is a multiple of 3, or this implies that x minus z is divisible by 3. Hence you can say that xz belongs to R. So xy belongs to R, yz belongs to R, implies xz belongs to R. Therefore R is transitive. Okay, R is transitive. Now the three things which you have proved is, since R is symmetric, reflexive and transitive, you will get that R is an equivalence relation. Okay. If x is equal to a sin pt and y is equal to b cos pt, find dy by dx at t equal to 0. X equal to a sin pt will give you dx by dt with respect to t as a into derivative of sin pt is cos pt into the angle which is not t only, it is pt, so you will get into p. So it is ap cos pt. Now y is equal to b cos pt. So dy by dt will be b, derivative of cos is minus sin pt, into angle is pt, so its derivative is p. Therefore dy by dx will be dy by dt divided by dx by dt, which is equal to minus bp sin pt divided by ap cos pt. P gets cancelled and you are getting minus b by a. Again sin pt by cos pt, same angle, so you can write it as tan pt. Now what is the question? You have to find out what is dy by dx at t is equal to 0. Now since it is t equal to 0, it is very easy. You have to just replace t with 0. X and y are given in the question. You have to replace the values here and find out what is t and then replace here. Here in the question it is given directly t is equal to, so you can just replace it. If it is not given, what you need to do, you have to find out using this. These will be the giving you the initial conditions for that. Okay. So here it is minus b by a. What is tan 0? 0. So you are getting 0 as the derivative at the point. The question is, if y is equal to p e raised to ax plus q e raised to bx, you have to show that d square y by dx square minus of a plus b into dy by dx plus aby is equal to 0. So starting with y is equal to p e raised to ax plus q e raised to bx, first derivative will be p into derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x into derivative of ax, which is a. So we'll get a e raised to ax plus q is a constant, derivative of e raised to bx will give you e raised to bx into derivative of bx as b. So it is b e raised to bx. Now for the second derivative, pa is constant, again differentiating e raised to ax, you will get e raised to ax into a. So a into a will become a square e raised to ax plus q into b is a constant, again e raised to bx, derivative will give you b e raised to bx. So this will become b square e raised to bx. Okay. Now we will just start with the left hand side, replacing the values which we got. D square y by dx square minus of a plus b into dy by dx plus aby will be equal to p a square e raised to ax plus q b square e raised to bx minus of a plus b into dy by dx. Replace p a e raised to ax plus q b e raised to bx plus ab into what is y? P e raised to ax plus q e raised to bx, which is equal to p a square e raised to ax plus q b square e raised to bx minus of p, multiplying with a you will get p a square e raised to ax. Again a multiplying with this will give you negative q a b e raised to bx. Next negative b multiplied with this term will give you p minus p a b e raised to ax, again minus q b square e raised to bx plus here a p a b e raised to ax plus q a b e raised to bx. Now p a square these two will get cancelled, QB square, these two, QAB minus QAB plus QAB minus PAB plus PAB. So you are getting it to be 0, which is equal to RHS. So LHS equal to RHS.